You are in a small town and you stop for a coffee. This is a small coffee roaster called Bean Better. And lately, everything at that place feels off. One cup tastes good, sometimes even perfect, but the next one tastes bitter and flat. Orders get mixed up, dark roasts goes to the customer that order light roast, and angry emails keep coming in to the business owner, Maria. She feels like she's drowning in the chaos her passion has created. Every book on quality management sounds for her like a jargon. Every consultant she talks to seems to speak on a language she doesn't really understand. She does not actually need more theory. She needs a path, a North Star. She needs to understand what is actually going wrong with her dream of establishing a good coffee shop. Then Maria starts to see one pattern. What looks like a random chaos is really a set of small problems that are repeating every day. That is where our story of quality begins, and we will make sense in the next few minutes.
Welcome to Advanced Quality Programs with Juan Navarro. In this podcast, we're going to dive deep into the world of quality and leadership philosophies.
Step back for a minute. This chaos that you are seeing in this coffee shop is common for businesses of every size. A software company releases one update full of bugs. A construction company is mostly late and mostly over the budget. An online store has a return process so painful for her customers or for their customers that they promise to never buy from them again. And unfortunately, all of those businesses, everyone that starts a business, starts with passion, with a wish of doing things right, until the inconsistency of every day creeps in. When these business owners, look for help, they hit a wall of acronyms and thick manuals. They are told they need a management system in place, and they are handed documents that feel more like a straitjacket than a solution. And that's one of the reasons why people fear quality, because it means expensive consultants, endless paperwork, and no creativity at all. It feels like something built for giant corporations, not for businesses with heart in themselves. So these business owners, they get stuck. They get trapped between the problem they have and the solution that feels impossible for them. They think the story of quality or improvement is one that they cannot afford to write. But the truth is, they cannot afford not to. This is where the idea of our protagonist in this episode enters the story. This is a framework that we call the ISO 9001. And while the name might sound like a corporate jargon, we can think of ISO 9001 as the universal language for doing the things the right way. We just need to translate them. It does not tell Maria, this coffee shop owner, how to roast her coffee. It gives her a blueprint to design her own system and, at the same time, her success story. But you may ask, how? Well, the standard is organized, and it is organized into 10 chapters. They are called clauses, and it is at its core a simple cycle for improvement that we already discussed in this podcast, the PDCA, the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. The power of the ISO 9001 is that its chapters, the main clauses, follow the cycle. And this is a good news. For Maria, this is not another confusing manual. It is a map that she needs to find her way out of the water, out of the woods. This is how the journey to clarity can develop for her. First, we start with the plan, with the clauses 4 to 7. While Maria tries to fix everything, while reading these clauses, she stops trying to fix everything at once and start by building the foundation. So the first clause, the 4, is the context. She can ask herself, who are we in this coffee shop? what do we do? Who depends on us? Asking those questions, Maria realizes the problem is not just bad luck. Her process is the inconsistency. And that inconsistency is frustrating to everyone, herself, her team, and her customers. So that brings to the hard question, the leadership. And this is found in the clause 5. She starts by writing a simple statement, her quality policy, if you may. And it is to deliver great coffee and get every single order right. In doing that, she gives her team a clear standard to follow, a North Star to point at, and to work together toward. That brings Maria to the clause 6, the planning. Together, they list risks such as bad beans, wrong temperatures, mixed up orders, and now Maria and her team, they can start setting goals, such as reducing order mistakes or beginning to recognize and prevent the problems before they happen, like opening a bag of bad beans. And that brings them to the clause 7, the support. Maria recognizes that she needs to train her team. She needs to calibrate the equipment. And now that she knows that, she clarifies the roles. Little by little, everyone starts to understand what good coffee, what good looks like, and this is no longer paperwork for its own sake. It is a preparation that the team and Maria need to make sense of their work and what they are doing every day. It is actually the do part, or in ISO terms, the clause 8, the operation. It means that they put the plan into action. They create a recipe cards for every single blend with exact temperatures and exact times. This means the guesswork starts to disappear, and Maria can finally see which steps matters the most. For shipping, for example, they add a simple check before selling any box, which avoids mistakes. Therefore, they are no longer just making coffee. They are building habits designed to create consistency, or in quality terms, their processes, and Maria begins to understand why that matters. It is no longer corporate jargon. Now, she can actually check, or in ISO terms, clause 9, the performance evaluation. Is any of this working as it's supposed to do? Maria can track the numbers. Some people complain becomes 3 times this week we cooked bitter coffee, and 1 time this week we delivered the wrong order, and it became the numbers for the month. So they run these tests to make sure that they are in the right path. Maria starts looking at the facts instead of relying on gut feelings. She has reviews. This is called in ISO 9001 language the data. And this data reveals her issues, like when the French roast is inconsistent and it happens to create a problem for the customer. Bringing her to the final piece of the cycle, the act, the clause 10, the improvement. Her team investigates and finds the clause and the idea behind interesting because, for example, one supply of beans cannot handle the heat. They understand the problem. With that information, they can establish some actions to correct that problem and switch the supplier, for example. They can streamline the takeaway process so that they stay accurate without slowing everything down. This continual improvement cycle, learning from what they check and feeding it back into the plan, helps them to improve. With every cycle, the team gets little smarter, faster, and more consistent. Slowly but surely, the story of being better changes. That chaos becomes stable. Complaints begin to fade. And more customers notice the one thing that has been missing before, the consistency. Now the customers say you can always count on being better for your coffee. Maria is no longer spending every day putting out fires. She is creating a new blend, improving the customer experience and leading with more confidence because she finally understands what is happening inside her business. Waste starts to disappear because bad batches are no longer common. Productivity increases because everyone knows what they are doing and why. Profits start to grow because happy customers return and they bring their friends. Most importantly, the culture changes. The team now feels ownership and pride for what they are doing. ISO 9001 does not restrict them. It gives them one structure and freedom to do their best work. The story of being better is not just about coffee. It is the story of every single industry. Your coffee beans might be lines of code. Your roasting might be the manufacturing. Your shipping might be the patient care. Principles are universal. Strong focus on customer, clear leadership, seeing work as a system of processes, continual improvement, decision based on evidence and no guesswork. ISO 9001 helps you to turn random activities into deliberate system design processes for success, those that make your company resilient, efficient, and trusted. So forget the jargon, the thick manuals. Remember the story of being better. ISO 9001 is the framework for writing your own story of quality, your own story of success, and the cycle that helps you to bring that all together. And that's it for today. If you are starting your own QMS journey, download the free one-page guide in the description or in my page, Advanced Quality Programs. And if this story helped you to understand what's ISO 9001 about, please hit like to the video and subscribe for more simple explanations of those big ideas. Thanks for everybody who has rated my books, Life Quality Projects, The Quality Mindset, and The Principles of Quality. As always, stay excellent, keep improving, and how about being better?
One small change triggers everything. Watch how agile thinking works. Inspect, adapt, repeat. Each step builds the next, creating confident, unstoppable momentum. This is the Quality Mindset by Juan Navarro. Get your copy now.